10 transformative changes if Cardinal Tagle became Pope. In a world seeking guidance, humility, and hope, imagine the profound impact of a papacy led by Cardinal Luis Antonio Tagle, often called the Smiling Cardinal. His vision, rooted in compassion and justice, could redefine the Catholic Church's role in addressing global issues, bridging divides, and inspiring people of all faiths and backgrounds. Cardinal Tagle's unique combination of theological depth, cultural awareness, and emotional resonance suggests a transformative potential. Here's a deeper exploration of the 10 ways his papacy could shape not just the Church, but the world. 1. A new era of humility and accessibility. Cardinal Tagle's humility is not just a virtue, it is a lifestyle. He is known for avoiding the trappings of power, instead choosing simplicity that mirrors the life of Christ. As Pope, his example could further redefine the papal role from one of grandeur to that of a servant leader. A Tagle-led Vatican might prioritize actions that reflect this humility. Public appearances could focus less on ceremony and more on personal interaction, where the faithful are seen, heard, and embraced. Imagine a pope who kneels in prayer with street children, visits the homes of the sick, and holds open-air masses in slums or refugee camps. This accessibility could inspire millions to feel a personal connection to their faith leader, breaking down perceptions of aloofness within the church hierarchy. Moreover, this humility could manifest in Vatican governance. Bureaucracy might be streamlined to emphasize service over protocol, encouraging a church that is more approachable and responsive to the needs of its followers. The Church as a champion for the poor. Cardinal Tagle often reminds the world of the gospel's call to serve the least of these. He has said that poverty is not just a social issue, but a theological one, as the poor reveal the face of Christ. As Pope, this perspective could become a cornerstone of his leadership. His papacy could usher in a renewed focus on the Church's mission to combat poverty, not just through charity, but by addressing its root causes. Initiatives might include partnerships with international organizations to provide sustainable aid, advocating for fair labor practices, and condemning economic systems that prioritize profit over people. Tagle's personal understanding of poverty, having witnessed it firsthand in his native Philippines, could also influence global policy. Imagine a pope who actively engages world leaders, urging them to adopt policies that promote economic equity and dismantle systemic injustices. His voice could become a rallying cry for a more just and compassionate world. 3. A renewed focus on Asia and the global South. The Catholic Church's growth is no longer centered in Europe, it is flourishing in the global South. As an Asian pope, Cardinal Tagle could elevate the voices and concerns of regions often overlooked in the global church narrative. A Tagle papacy might prioritize strengthening the Church's presence in Asia, Africa, and Latin America, areas where Catholics face unique challenges such as persecution, poverty, and cultural tensions. His leadership could bring fresh energy to these communities, emphasizing their importance in the future of Catholicism. Additionally, his papacy could deepen interfaith dialogue, particularly in Asia, where Christianity often intersects with Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, and other traditions. Cardinal Tagle's history of promoting peace and understanding among faiths suggests a Vatican that actively seeks unity and cooperation in a pluralistic world. 4. Bridging the divide between tradition and progress. One of Cardinal Tagle's most remarkable qualities is his ability to honor church tradition while remaining open to progress. He has shown a willingness to engage in difficult conversations without compromising core values, a trait that could define his papacy. Under his leadership, the Church might become a space where diverse perspectives coexist. Issues such as the role of women in leadership, LGBTQ+ inclusion, and celibacy for priests could be approached with both courage and sensitivity. While doctrinal changes may not be immediate, the openness to dialogue could foster a spirit of inclusion and respect. Imagine a papacy where debates on controversial topics are met with a listening ear rather than defensiveness. A church that balances fidelity to its teachings with a genuine effort to understand and engage with the modern world. 5. A strong voice for environmental stewardship. The urgency of climate change demands moral leadership, and Cardinal Tagle's background positions him as a powerful advocate for environmental justice. The Philippines, a country highly vulnerable to climate disasters, has shaped his understanding of the human toll of environmental neglect. As Pope, Tagle could galvanize the Church's 1.3 billion members to take action for the planet. Initiatives might include encouraging parishes to adopt renewable energy, reducing waste in church institutions, and supporting grassroots movements for environmental preservation. Beyond the Church, a Tagle papacy could challenge world leaders to honor commitments to combat climate change. By framing environmental issues as a moral and spiritual crisis, he could inspire collective action that transcends political and national boundaries. 6. Engaging the youth in the digital age. In a time when young people increasingly feel disconnected from institutional religion, Cardinal Tagle's relatability and digital savvy could be a game changer. His ability to connect emotionally and intellectually with younger generations could make the Church more relevant in their lives. As Pope, he might use social media platforms to engage directly with the youth, hosting virtual discussions on faith, social justice, and personal struggles. Imagine a papacy that actively listens to and learns from the concerns of young Catholics, creating a reciprocal relationship that nurtures both the Church and its future leaders. He could also champion initiatives that empower young people to take leadership roles in their parishes and communities, ensuring that their voices shape the Church's direction. 7. Healing and reconciliation in a divided world. The world today is rife with divisions, political, social, and religious. Cardinal Tagle's emphasis on compassion, dialogue, and forgiveness could position him as a unifying figure in an era of discord. A Tagle papacy might prioritize mending fractured relationships, whether between different Christian denominations, other religions, or opposing factions within the Church itself. His focus on reconciliation could extend to global conflicts, where the Vatican could serve as a mediator in peace talks and humanitarian efforts. Imagine a pope who travels to conflict zones, not just as a spiritual leader, but as an advocate for peace and justice. His presence could inspire hope and remind the world of the transformative power of mercy and understanding. 8. Greater inclusion of women in church leadership. While the ordination of women may remain off the table under current doctrine, Cardinal Tagle has consistently acknowledged the invaluable role women play in the Church. As Pope, he could take meaningful steps to expand their influence and representation. This could include appointing women to high-ranking positions within the Vatican, such as heads of dicasteries or advisory councils. A Tagle papacy might also advocate for greater recognition of women's contributions in theological scholarship, pastoral ministry, and missionary work. Such moves could inspire a cultural shift within the Church, signaling a deeper commitment to gender equity and the value of diverse voices in leadership. 9. Institutionalizing synodality. Synodality, a collaborative approach to church governance, has been a key focus of Cardinal Tagle's ministry. As Pope, he could institutionalize this process, making it a defining feature of his papacy. By encouraging bishops, priests, and lay people to work together in decision-making, Tagle could create a church that is more inclusive and responsive. Local churches could be empowered to address their unique challenges, fostering a sense of ownership and agency among the faithful. This collaborative model could also extend to addressing global issues, with the Vatican convening synods on topics like climate change, migration, and social justice, where diverse perspectives are heard and acted upon. A papacy rooted in joy and hope. Above all, Cardinal Tagle is a man of joy, a joy rooted in his faith and his deep love for humanity. His infectious smile and genuine warmth have touched countless lives, making him a symbol of hope in a world often weighed down by despair. As Pope, Tagle's optimism could inspire a renewed sense of purpose within the Church. His leadership would remind the world of the transformative power of love, compassion, and faith. Whether addressing global crises, comforting the suffering, or celebrating moments of triumph, a Tagle papacy would radiate the joy of the gospel. Conclusion. A papacy led by Cardinal Tagle could redefine the Catholic Church's role in the 21st century, one that is deeply human, profoundly compassionate, and unwaveringly hopeful. It is not just about what he would do as Pope, but about how his presence, rooted in humility and joy, could inspire billions to envision a better world. Whether Catholic or not, the idea of such leadership invites us all to reflect on the transformative power of empathy, faith, and love.